So really,
you need property.
I get it. I get what you're saying about the developing world. Finally, and very quickly, Michael, what do you tell people out there who are now, and this chorus is growing a little bit louder, saying Bitcoin's a bubble?
Yes. Welcome back, everybody, to Altcoin Daily. My name's Austin. In today's video, I want to share with you three main news stories. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. I want to share with you news on altcoin Cirus, as well as an update in this ongoing battle of the SEC versus Ripple. If you're new to the channel, I encourage you to hit subscribe right now. We drop a video every single day demystifying this cryptocurrency market. Let's jump in, starting with Bitcoin. This is a masterclass by Saylor, Michael Saylor, on national television last night. Listen to this clip of Michael Saylor addressing three main things. Is regulation good for Bitcoin? He addresses the differences between DeFi and dApp platforms versus Bitcoin. He talks about why Bitcoin is digital property. And then at the very end, this CNBC host asks him, well, isn't Bitcoin in a bubble? This is about a 3-minute clip. Watch this.
We just heard from Sam Bankman-Fried, who is welcoming regulation, starting, hopefully, he says, out of the U.S. this year. Is that your feeling, or do you worry that regulators could ultimately regulate it out of existence? China, for instance, banning Bitcoin mining.
No, I think actually regulation and clarity is going to be great for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is universally acknowledged as digital property. It's common property. All the question marks are around currencies and securities and platforms and exchanges. One thing that's clear is everybody on Earth wants to own property. And if you live in Africa or South America or Asia, what property would you rather own than Bitcoin? So, you know, the regulatory clarity is going to accelerate institutional adoption of Bitcoin, and you're going to see large flows of capital into the asset class as this continues.
But here's the difference with Bitcoin and property, Michael. Property, you can value it. You can see the location and the neighbors and what it's worth. How do you know, how can one determine what Bitcoin is worth? There's no balance sheet, and it really hasn't been a long-term proven asset.
If you lived in Zimbabwe, what piece of property would you rather own than Bitcoin? If you lived in Argentina and there's an 80% inflation rate, what piece of property would you rather own than Bitcoin?
Well, maybe the U.S. dollar.
Actually not. The U.S. dollar is losing 20% of its value a year, and Bitcoin's going up in value every year. So the real important thing to note about Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is a global monetary asset, which means everybody on Earth is going to have a need for that property. And it's a scarce, desirable asset. Currencies are designed to lose value. And, you know, the dollar is the strongest currency. But if you look at the lira, or take the Argentine peso, the blue dollar rate hit 209 today. It was 15 about 4 years ago. So you can't save your money in a currency. You have to actually invest in a property. And for 3/4 of the world, they can't buy the S&P index. So it's not an academic question of whether or not you buy stocks or you buy Bitcoin. You can't buy, you know, stocks when you live in the middle of Africa or Egypt or Turkey or Lebanon. So really, you need property.
I get it. I get what you're saying about the developing world. Finally, and very quickly, Michael, what do you tell people out there who are now, and this chorus is growing a little bit louder, saying Bitcoin's a bubble, the liquidity from the Fed, that big tide is coming in, and it is proving to be just a speculative investment, and it's popping?
Yeah, people are skeptical of Amazon and Google and Facebook, but you know, the next digital transformation is the digital transformation of property, money, and energy. And Bitcoin represents that transformation. So 8 billion people are going to want to move money at the speed of light on a mobile phone. What I would tell them is Bitcoin is the asset. Bitcoin is the network to move money at the speed of light. There is no other open, permissionless protocol to do it. So technology is on our side. This is the future of the internet.
All right. Great perspective. Give me your thoughts on this down below. Seriously, do you agree? Do you disagree? Comment right now down below. But let's keep moving. Next piece of news on lower cap altcoin Cirus. Cirus Foundation launches a web extension allowing users to monetize browsing data. So I think most of you have probably already heard of Cirus in some sense. They do have some major partners/backers like Devoice, Polygon, as well as Crypto.com, as well as a super public team that has been pretty active in doing interviews on other channels. In fact, I encourage you to search Cirus Foundation interviews and check it out for yourself. But for those who might not know them, they have chosen to sponsor this section of today's video. So in 2 minutes or less, let's go over what Cirus is, as well as why they're making news today. So what exactly is Cirus? Cirus is bringing data and Web3 together by enabling users to turn their data into cryptocurrency and use it as the on-ramp to the new digital economy. So Cirus is giving the individual users, you and me, back control of their data. Cirus flips the script on large corporations who take your data for free and use it to generate billions. Instead, users can control, monetize, and earn from their own data, the way it should be, using an entire suite of services, from a web browser extension to mobile apps to a Wi-Fi router that supercharges data monetization. So to put this into perspective, right now, big tech, meaning Facebook, Google, etc., Amazon, they don't really give us a choice. They just steal our data automatically and monetize it for themselves. Luckily though, Web3 is coming, and Cirus is one of those cryptos fighting to give control and monetization back in control of the people, like you and me. So what is the update today? Data Ownership Initiative Cirus Foundation has announced that its data monetization product, the Cirus Web extension, is available for download as of a few weeks ago, meaning that internet users can download the extension directly from the Google Chrome browser with support for additional browsers coming soon. Okay, so while the Cirus device, meaning the hardware, as seen here, will be out in the coming future, the Chrome extension is available now. The web extension represents the user's first step towards using data as an on-ramp to Web 3.0 by earning cryptocurrency in exchange for data, a much-needed solution to the broken big data model in use today. The final detail I want to share is that version 1 of the extension enables basic data sharing and monetization, and once users install the extension, they can use their browser the way they normally would and check in on their balance and see their earnings increase over time. Of course, this is all in the Cirus token. So that is the news. Give me your thoughts on this mission of taking our freedoms back from big tech, but always cool to check in on these smaller projects and see the progress being made. And next piece of news, an update on this case between the SEC versus Ripple. The SEC must surrender the Hinman email on Ethereum to Ripple, a judge rules. So a federal judge ruled that an email containing a draft of the former SEC officials, meaning Hinman's, speech is not protected by agency privilege, a small yet possibly significant win for Ripple. But let's unpack this and talk about exactly what this means. The Securities and Exchange Commission must surrender to Ripple an email with a draft of former director of the SEC's William Hinman's speech on whether Ethereum is a security as part of an ongoing lawsuit the regulatory agency filed against the crypto startup. So we do know that this case is still ongoing, and they're still in the discovery process in terms of what documents are allowed or not allowed to be used in this case. The SEC's attorneys claimed that these documents contained staffer deliberations and thus were protected against discovery. Yet Magistrate Judge Sarah Netburn of the Southern District of the New York Federal Court ruled that while some of these documents were protected, she ordered the regulator to turn over the others, including the email with Hinman's speech and some notes from meetings between SEC staffers and third parties that are not Ripple. Okay, so what exactly does this mean to you if you hold XRP? Well, basically, this email from Hinman, when he was a director in the SEC, he gave a speech back in June 2018 telling the audience at the conference that in his view, Ethereum was not a security, which was huge news back in the day. We covered it. And this speech was seen as pivotal for the crypto industry, given that the first 60 million Ether, the native token of the Ethereum blockchain, was sold in a presale, was sold to raise funds for the Ethereum Foundation. Of course, despite this, he ruled it as a commodity, not a security. meaning that the CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, could then oversee derivatives products based on the cryptocurrency, which we have seen thus far. Ripple is, I guess, saying, hey, well, if Ethereum had a pre-sale and they're okay, how come our pre-sale is different? And by the way, maybe it is different. We don't know yet. But the key is, Ripple can now use that email as evidence in their case. In a direct quote from Ripple, "We're pleased with the court's order, which grants Ripple access to important documents that the SEC was withholding. We will continue to aggressively defend this case, and we remain optimistic that resolution of this case will provide much needed clarity for the industry." That's the quote. Give me your thoughts on this, but I will keep you updated. And that is the video. My name's Austin. Like always, see you tomorrow.